Before you begin, make sure you have a zigzag foot on your machine as well as a new size 18 or denim needle. Start your basket by creating a coil similar to the way you would make a cinnamon roll. You'll want to keep this as flat and level as possible, as this initial step creates the bottom center of your basket or bowl. Take your time with this step, as it will determine the eventual overall quality of your basket. This can take a little practice. Try not to get frustrated if you have to try several times to get it right. This coil should be somewhere between the size of $1.25 and $1/2 or 1 inch to 1.5 inches across. Your coil should be growing in a clockwise motion with the rope coming from your left. If yours is backwards, simply turn it over. Stitch across, making sure to backstitch at the beginning and end if your machine does not automatically do this for you. Repeat these straight stitches until you have a total of 6 sets of stitches across the coil. When you have completed the last line of stitching, you will want to change your machine settings. Set your machine settings to the widest zigzag stitch. On my machine, this is 4 millimeters. The stitch length should be between 2.5 and 3 stitches per inch. Before you begin the next step, stop and make sure that your coil and rope are in the correct positions. Again, the coil should be going clockwise with the rope coming from your left. If yours is backwards, turn it over. When your coil is the desired size, begin wrapping your 1-inch fabric strips around the rope. Hold the rope at a slight angle to make it lay flatter as it coils around the rope. By slightly rolling the rope away and back toward the fabric, the end will tuck behind itself, making it secure and easy to stay in place. Anchor this fabric with a clip. Begin sewing with a zigzag stitch at the point where the coil is open. Take your time and go very slowly. You want to keep the point where the 2 pieces of coil meet at the exact center of your presser foot. It's very important that your stitches catch both sides of the coil fabric. Missing this will create holes in your basket. If you find that you have missed a spot, simply go back and stitch it again. Stop frequently and look back over your work, ensuring that you haven't missed a spot. It gets more difficult to fix as your basket grows. As you near the end of your fabric strip, stop and add the next strip. Use the same rolling back and forth with the rope as before, taking care to overlap the new fabric strip on top of the previous strip. Clip this in place and continue to wrap the fabric to the end or to a spot you can easily reach. Clip and continue sewing, adding new fabric strips until you reach the desired width. For this size basket, I make the bottom about 8 inches across. You can stop periodically to measure, or you can eyeball it. It does not have to be exact. I have chosen to use an erasable marker and mark the bottom of my sew study table with a small mark so I know exactly when to begin the next step. The next step can be the most tricky and to me feels the most awkward. Fortunately, once you practice a bit, it becomes much easier. Place your left hand under the basket, palm up, at a roughly 45-degree angle. Begin sewing, keeping your hand at this angle while your fingers lightly guide the basket. This step is much easier if you go very, very slowly. Do this for 2 rounds of the coil. You can mark the beginning with a pen or make your beginning mark a different shade of fabric. After you've sewn 2 rounds, push the basket as close to fully upright as it will go with your left hand. Gently hold it in this position and begin sewing. Where before you were sewing at a slight angle, you will now be sewing the 2 pieces of the coil parallel with each other. Continue in this manner until your basket is nearly the size you want, or until you have reached the last fabric strip. Remember to go slowly, take your time, and stop periodically and check. Make sure that your stitches are even and that your needle is in the center where the 2 pieces of fabric meet. When you have gotten to the end, Cut your rope an inch or two shorter than your last fabric strip and wrap it around and around, ending in a twist of just fabric with no rope. You may need to hold this twist in your hand if your clip won't grip it. Continue sewing until the last few inches of your fabric and rope strip. Gradually and gently angle the last inch or so down, making a gradual end inside the basket opening. Backstitch a few stitches and clip the remaining fabric. And congratulations! You've just made a lovely basket that you'll treasure for years to come. Thank you for watching.